Welcome to Read, Eat, Travel, Repeat, the book club and podcast with your hosts, Sarah, Kit, and Marianne, three friends who talk about all things books, food, and travel. Welcome, readers, eaters, and travelers to Read, Eat, Travel, Repeat, the podcast and book club where books take us beyond the page. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kit.
And I'm Marianne. Today we'll be talking about the books we've read recently and books that we think you should add to your TBR pile.
And this episode is spoiler free. So if a book you haven't read yet is mentioned, no worries. We're not going to ruin it for you. And also, as always, we are adults and we will say adult things. So you have been warned. But we're really funny while we're doing it. So don't worry.
Yes, we are.
We try.
Super entertaining. All right, let's get to it.
We make ourselves laugh, so it's okay.
I listen to every single one of our episodes and I laugh. So
Yes, exactly.
I entertain myself. So please join us for this,
Same.
this ride. All right, who wants to go first with what their books are for this month?
I think
I went first last
You went first
time.
last month, so maybe Marianne should go first
It's
this month.
Okay, so my books, I didn't read a lot in December, which of course, some people are like, oh my God, how do you read so much? But for me, it felt like not a lot. I read A Spark of Life by Jodi Picoult. It's a book. I love her books. I love her writing. They're always pretty intense. This one's about a hostage situation in an abortion clinic. And I really liked it, except at the very end, there's a bunch of different storylines going on, like the shooter's storyline and the cop who was investigating it. And there's like all these different storylines going on, but only one of them really got a resolution. So I felt like I was like, okay, well, what happened to so and so? What happened to so and so? So I was a little frustrated with it, but I will still continue reading her books. Then I read, because after reading something like Jodi Picoult, you need something that's going to be like a palate cleanser because they're usually pretty intense. And BK Borison was super popular on TikTok last year, I think it was, for First Time Caller, which is like reminiscent of Sleepless in Seattle, but set in Baltimore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was all over TikTok. And it's a cute book. I read it. Well, she has a previous series called the Love Light Farm series. And the first book is called Love Light Farms. And I read that a couple months ago. So I read two more of the books in that series. One of them was called In the Weeds. And this one was super, super cute. The main male character's name is Beckett. And he's like this big, burly guy, but he's got this soft spot for animals. But he's also got social anxiety. And he's so grumpy, but it's because he just gets overwhelmed when he's around a lot of people. And so he pretty much keeps to himself. And in the first book, this social media influencer shows up to like feature the farm on her social media. Well, apparently Beckett and she had a one night stand at a conference a few months earlier or a year earlier, whatever it was. And they're like complete opposites. She's a social media influencer. He's this grump with social anxiety, but she's burnt out and she's looking for a place to relax. And she remembered being at Love Light Farms and how much she loved it there. So she goes there to recharge and rethink her life choices. It was really cute, and there's also all kinds of animals in it. He's got like three or four kittens, and he found a duck, and he's keeping it in the greenhouse. It's super, super cute. And then the third one in the same series is called Mixed Signals, which is Layla, who runs the bake shop on the farm, like where you can go for coffee and baked goods when you're out there cutting down your Christmas tree. And Caleb failed at being a sheriff's deputy because he's too nice. So now he's teaching he's teaching Spanish at the high school as a long-term sub.
As one does.
Yes, exactly.
When you fail out of being a police officer.
It's like videos where it's like the police dogs that have failed out of being police
Yes.
dogs. So
Yes.
just like super cute little like community dogs.
So that's like Caleb. His last name is like Alvarez, I think it is. So he comes from a big Hispanic family. And Layla is like really ballsy, but down deep, she's got a lot of self-doubt. and they do some fake dating so that both of them can get better at dating because neither one of them have been
Mhm.
successful in
Oh,
relationship.
that's one of my favorite
I
tropes.
do,
The
yeah.
hey,
And
Like,
hey, I don't know how to act on a date. Let's date.
like the
yes,
Duff.
and then like
Right. Yes.
yes,
Right?
and so it was really cute. I really liked the books.
Right.
They're got quite a bit of spice in them, but like I don't feel like it's excessive. I feel like sometimes it just gets to like, oh God, not again. But it was just the right amount of spice. Um, Another book that I read that was really interesting was called Soon by You, and this is an arc that comes out in June. I didn't realize it was coming out so long from now. I just happened to be playing like uh, Kindle roulette the other day, where I was like,
Mhm.
okay, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And this one's really interesting. It takes place in the Orthodox Jewish community, and the main female carrier, Ariel or Ari, she's known around town for hooking up a lot. Okay,
Mhm.
but she draws a line at going all the way because she
Okay.
is an Orthodox
Okay.
Jewish girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but she's out there. And this guy, I think it's Judah Klein. I think Klein was his last name. He is a very in wedding singer. Like he's singing at all the Jewish
I love
Orthodox.
that.
Okay.
I love that.
And he is actually taking like this vow that he's not going to touch a woman at all until he's married. Okay. However, it happens, the two of them end up together, and he definitely does a lot of touching.
Well then.
And
Spicy.
Kind of
it's
well,
very
what the
spicy,
hell?
but you kind of find out as you go along that the reason Ari has been like so fast and loose, so to say, is that she really insecure and she doesn't think
Of
anybody's
course.
going
Yep.
to
Yeah.
really want her. And but it was really cute. It's funny how spicy it could be without like really going all the way.
Yes. Yes. There's a lot you can do.
Yes, exactly. And they do it. So that was super cute. Like I said, that's from St. Martin's Griffin that comes out in June. Then I've got Saoirse, which I think I've told you guys
Yeah.
before that I really liked. It was set in Ireland. It's about this woman coming from America with a stolen Irish passport. She's escaping her parents were drug users. Her mom died in a pool of vomit. Um, she has this horrible home life. So she finally escapes on a stolen passport. And it's one of those things where she's got like this whole web of lies, and ultimately they all kind of close in around her.
Mhm.
And at the end, my heart was racing and I was crying. Like there was tears rolling down my face.
Mhm.
And I just thought it was such a good book. I really enjoyed that. I'm actually listening to the audio now because I got the audio arc from Macmillan Audio. So that's what I'm listening to right
Nice.
now.
Hmm.
And then the other book I read was this was for my workbook club. It's called Small Things Like This by Claire Keegan. Set in Ireland, it's historical fiction. Basically, these orphanages that were being run by nuns, convents in Ireland, and they were horribly abusing the
Mhm.
children. And it's a really, really short book, and it kind of ended too soon. It's another one where it didn't have enough resolution. I'm like, okay, what happened next?
Then what?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, this is really good. This is really what? No, that can't be the last page. I need
Mhm.
more. So that was something that we read, and everybody in my book club felt the same way.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, that we wanted to know more. What was going to happen
Which
next?
is like
Now,
a good problem, bad problem. Like it's
Right,
like it's
right.
great. It's good writing if you want to know what's going to
yes,
happen next. But
exactly.
Yes.
also
Yeah.
you're like,
Yes.
oh, but now it's done.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, oh, actually, no, these are what were these called? I guess Magdalene laundries were Catholic run all female workhouses where women who were considered disgraced often lived indefinitely doing unpaid or underpaid labor. But apparently, like there was this whole thing in Ireland because of the whole, the ban on contraception that I was
Yeah.
talking
Oh
about
yeah.
with
Yeah.
the women on platform 2. that I guess like women who got pregnant and weren't married, that was kind of like the way of shaming them and taking their babies and
Yeah.
putting them in these orphanages. And so
Hmm.
anyhow, so that was really good. That was for my book club.
Yep.
My other book club was reading John Grisham's Skipping Christmas, which apparently is what Christmas with the Cranks is based on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
really? I did not know
I've read
that.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I've read that. I didn't know that those. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I could not get through it. I guess it's one of those same old things. Like it's set in like the early 2000s, and
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
there's no technology, and like everybody in their little suburban neighborhood is putting up like these plastic snowmen on their roofs, and I'm
Mm.
like, it would be an inflatable. What the hell are they doing with plastic? You can't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I
think it
just
makes a better movie
Than a book.
than a book
and
because,
then
yeah.
I read some of the spoilers at the end, and I was like, "Whoa!" Because apparently I was looking at some of the one-star reviews on Goodreads, and
Yeah.
apparently there's some like racist comments towards the end, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Hmm.
just couldn't get through it. Other people in my book club loved it,
Loved it.
but
Okay.
I just could
It's
not read it.
short,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah,
a short read.
I don't know. It was long for me, girl, because I got
Challenging,
through like
yeah.
Right.
40%, and it felt like it took a year off my life.
I read it
But
like years ago, but
Yeah.
it's not something that I'm like, oh, I loved it so much, I'm going to read it every year.
and
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
like no disrespect to John Grisham because I've read some of his other books, but this
For
one
sure.
just wasn't for
Wasn't it?
me. It maybe wrong book, wrong time, right book, wrong time, or wrong book, right time. I don't know what it was, something like that. So,
Yeah.
anyhow, those are my books. So, who is up next?
I can go next.
All
Oh,
right.
go for it, Sarah.
Okay, so my first book, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, dude.
Obviously,
Oh,
Yep.
classic American
Classic.
lit that I read every year with my 10th graders.
Did
Um,
you this is slightly on a side. Did you read it when you were in high school?
I feel like I did.
This is one of those books that I read in high school and had a hard time getting through, and then I reread it as an adult, and I was like,
And you're like,
"Oh."
holy
I was like, "Yeah.
crap. I know.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah." It's one of those
I
ones
try
that I struggled with as a kid.
I try to be really cognizant of things like that when I teach my books.
Yeah.
Like I know this is what kids aren't gonna like,
Yes.
but I point out, especially in today's society, even when I read it or when I read
Yeah.
1984 back in the 90s,
Yeah.
that Ray Bradbury was almost like telling the future. When you read this
Yeah.
book, it does
Yeah.
not feel like science fiction
No.
because what is happening in this book is happening today,
Yes.
yeah.
which is creepy.
Yeah.
And I remind them this was written in early 50s, I wanna say, late
Yeah.
40s, early 50s, and they're talking about, first of all, if you're somebody who lives in a hole and you have no idea
1953.
what
Yeah.
Fahrenheit 451 is about,
Okay, I have to admit, I'm really bad about having read some of the classics, but
the
I've never
class
read
it's
it.
a
So
short
for
one too,
Marianne, a
for
synopsis
Marianne.
of Fahrenheit 451.
Okay, so in the future, firefighters do not put out fires, they start them,
Mhm.
Oh.
and they burn books primarily.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's about for a long time, it's been
Mm.
considered a book about censorship, and the title comes from the fact that the temperature it takes for paper to burn is 451 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, uh, when you're
Wow.
burning old telephone books, which kids don't know what those are either anymore,
Yeah, right.
at your
Okay,
campfires,
dearie.
451 degrees. It's actually rumor has it he called the LA fire department and asked them what the temperature was, and some said it was 420, some said
That
460. He
doesn't
went with
sound as nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
451. So
You gotta
that's where it
play.
comes from. And of course, these firefighters go around blindly doing it until the main character, Guy Montag, realizes, wait, why are we burning in these books? Like, why is it
Mhm.
that people and it's a society where everyone is attached to social media, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh.
Again, back in
Yes.
the 50s, he wrote about people who were entertained by live TV shows, live interactive TV shows that took place over giant flat screens that took up their entire wall.
Oh my
And
god.
so when you read
Yes.
stuff like that, the kids are like, "Oh, it's a flat screen." I'm like, "You guys, do you know what a tube TV looks like? Do you know how big
Yeah.
TVs were in
And
the
I think
50s?"
I think that was part of like or part of why I think maybe kids now
Yes,
can make a
they
better
get it.
connection to it than like
Yep.
we did in high school. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like I was like,
Yeah,
okay. Like I didn't really have like a
yeah.
touchstone for it, like
No.
because when we were in high school, like we had a computer, but it was like dial up and like
Well, you
most
probably
social
couldn't,
media we got was like
and you couldn't
tiny chat
imagine a
rooms. Like,
screen that big. You couldn't imagine
right.
something that big.
That would be in your house. Like, it just,
I
to
know.
me, like at
Yes,
that time, I was like, it seemed just far fetched enough that I couldn't
yes.
connect to
And
it.
they
Versus
have
now, it is what it is. Like,
multiple screens. Montag's
yeah,
wife is very, very like disassociated with him because she loves
yeah,
her family, and her
yeah.
family is her TV. It's
Oh,
essentially social media.
And if you even
Not only
think about
that,
like Chat GPT and like the
oh
people who
yeah,
are
like it's,
like weird symbiotic relationships with like
yep,
their AI.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where she's at.
Yeah.
okay. My chat GPT is my best friend, so just stop.
She also Montag
Start calling it your family.
right, when we first meet Mildred, his wife, Montag has walked in the house and he kicks over a bottle of pills.
Hmm.
She has overdosed in her sleep,
Oh,
and he calls her, well, she overdosed on purpose, and he calls the EMT, and not even a real doctor comes. It's
Yeah.
literally just a couple trainees that come and they pump her stomach and run her blood through a cleaner. I don't even know
Yeah.
if pumping her stomach was a thing that you could do in the 50s, I'll be honest,
Yeah.
but
I don't know.
so she does that. She wakes up in the morning and has no recollection that she ever did it. So you have this society that's deeply rooted in unhappiness. You have a society that has their information controlled. So when I taught it this year, I went, instead of banned books, because that's what people tend to think of with Fahrenheit 451. It's about banned books. I wanted to be real careful of that with
yeah.
our current politics, and even I'm in a
Yeah.
conservative school. So I went with control of information, and my kids
Yeah.
understood it so well,
Yeah.
that you are controlling the information and people aren't thinking for themselves.
Yeah.
And that really resonated with them. So
Yeah.
it's one of those, if you have not read it yet, I highly recommend it. I don't love the ending. I never have, although I got it more this year.
Hmm.
Okay.
I've read it so many times and I've always hated the ending, but the rest of the book was so redeeming that I was like, okay, I can deal with this. But this year I was like, I think I get it. I think I get the ending.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Ray Bradbury, a lot of
Maybe
his
I'll
things,
reread it again because
a lot of his,
it's been a
there's
while.
a good, there's a graphic novel out of it too.
That's what I was actually just looking up.
Yep,
I
because
do
I have
like
the
reading
graphic
the
novel
classics
for
as a
some of my
graphic
kids.
novel.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I might do that.
So that was my first one. Um, I read Wrong Place, Wrong Time, Gillian McAllister. She's another thriller author.
Hmm.
Main character Jen, I want to say this takes place in England. She and her husband wait up late one night for her son to come home, and as she's watching out the window for her son to come home, she watches a figure out of the shadows, and her son stabs and kills the man. They run
Oh,
outside and they're like, "Oh my gosh," and he's like 18-year-old son. So, "Oh my gosh, he
Mhm.
killed somebody," and all this. And they take him to the police station and everything's really crazy. And she finally goes home and goes to sleep thinking, "What am I going to do about this? How am I going to handle this?" She's a lawyer. So she's already like, "I got to call
yeah.
these people. I got to."
Yeah.
She wakes up and it's the day before. The murder hasn't happened yet.
Oh,
Oh,
So,
okay.
super cool concept for a thriller. She
Yeah.
keeps waking up backwards in time. She only lives a day in her past, and she has to try to figure out, like, how far back does this go? What is it that happened to my son? Or did I do something? Did the family do something?
Mhm.
How far back does this story go back to prevent him from killing someone in the future?
oh,
And it ends up
Okay.
with a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah.
And for somebody who's read a lot of thrillers, this is a great book because it's very different than the standard
And some of the other ones.
thriller.
Nice.
Yeah. And she goes back quite far. I think she ends up going back almost 20 years at
Ooh.
some point where
Yeah.
you're like, she'll wake up and be like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, I got to
Mhm.
figure out what conversation am I supposed to hear? What information am I supposed to get out of this yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Dual narration too between her and, a cop, one
Ooh.
of the police officers.
Okay.
So it's really, yeah. So that was a good start to the month. And then I read Beautiful Ugly, Alice Fenny, another thriller that I wanted to love so much. And it just got weird at the end. So great author, Grady, he's celebrating the first New York Times bestseller he's ever had. And he's talking on the phone to his wife when his wife is like, hold on, there's something in the road. And then she never comes back.
oh,
Ooh.
So she disappears for a year. His agent, after a year, is like, we still haven't found her. We're presuming she's dead. They found her car, they found her coat, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and the agent says, hey, I have access to this really cute writing cottage in this far off remote island in Scotland that you should go write to kind of get your writing mojo back. So he
mojo
goes
back.
there, gets off the ferry, which of course, no technology, no cars, nothing. And he sees a woman he thinks is his wife.
Oh.
So it was really like a good spook factor. Like, is he crazy? Is he not crazy?
Yeah.
What is he
Is
seeing?
that
What
his
is he
wife?
not
What's
seeing?
happening?
But then the reason at the end, I just felt were kind of like a little far-fetched. I was like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
So, I loved the tagline just in general. Wives think their husbands will change, but they don't. Husbands think their wives won't change, but they do.
Well,
And
if
I'm
that
like,
ain't like
well,
the truth. Like, well,
that's so true. So, and then
accurate. Yeah.
and then after that, I started it is December and I'm going to read all the Christmas books possible.
Yes.
So Christmas Tree Farm, Lori Gilmore was what my book club picked. Same author of that Dream Harbor series, Pumpkin Spice Cafe, that everyone was crazy about.
Yeah.
So funny because when my book club picked it, somebody was like, oh, I heard it's really spicy. So I was expecting it to
Like
be
super spicy.
really spicy. I call it like a 1 or a 2 chili pepper spice. I was like, if this is what you guys think is spicy, this is nothing compared to some of the things I've read. It's a cute series. It's super predictable. It's super easy to read.
I'll tell you what, sometimes predictable
when you
is
need
like
that,
what you need.
they're great books for something seasonal because, of course, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe takes place in the fall. It all revolves around this town of Dream Harbor and various places. So they all have businesses, but the main character, Kira, she hates Christmas, of course, but she wants to do something for herself. So she buys a dilapidated Christmas tree farm.
Okay.
Cute kids' dreams.
Always. Like everything I've ever wanted.
Right. And of course, she wants to do it all by herself and she wants to get this up and running so she can pay for a new furnace and all this stuff, or a boiler, because the house is that old, it has a boiler.
Yeah.
And of course, she meets a guy who wants to help her, but she pushes him away because she wants to do it herself. Like I said, cute, predictable. I definitely, if I needed a good, like, just a brain cleanse,
Yeah.
Right.
read
That's
another one.
That's the same thing like with the Love Light Farm series. The same idea.
Yes.
It's like it's
just
just cute
fun.
and predictable, but
Yeah.
you know.
Then, of course, Grace and Henry's Holiday Movie Marathon. If you not going to talk about that one because we did a whole podcast on it, so go listen to that one.
I did listen to that one, so I should have added it to my list of books, and I forgot.
And then, along lines with you, I read Good Spirits.
Too.
I read Good Spirits by
And
B.K.
that is
Borison.
actually my work book club's book for this month. I have to read that
I
soon.
loved it.
Oh, good.
I'm going to have to add this one because that first line of your
cute.
summary.
Yes.
That feels right.
Harriet York, it takes place in Annapolis, which I also
Okay.
appreciated because I feel like that's a city we haven't read a lot about.
Yeah.
Harriet York is her name. She is haunted by the ghost of Christmas past, who
You
also
left out
happens to
the
be
very hot part.
the very hot Nolan Callahan, who's Irish.
Oh,
Then go ahead and add that to the TBR.
Not to give anything away, but the first scene where he shows up, you know, like ooh, I am the ghost of Christmas past. She's like, bullshit. Show me your identification.
No, you're
He's
not.
like, I don't have an ID card. She's like, let me talk to your boss. That like she thinks she's drunk. So it starts out with really funny banter.
Love that.
He is assigned to her. He has to pass her off to the next ghost before Christmas Eve. And as they keep going back in time and spending time together, they can't figure out what it is. He's like, I don't know why I'm here. She's not a bad person. Like, what did she do?
Yeah.
And they keep going back, and of course, gradually fall in love, and they want to just be around each other. It's so cute. Such a fun twist on Christmas Carol with romance.
Yeah.
What's the spice
Really
level on it?
Not very spicy.
Okay, I was just curious because, like I said,
One or two scenes maybe, and not super. Yeah.
My book club, my work book club picked it, and I know one of the people would probably not like it if it was super spicy. So
Yeah.
There are 30 people in line to borrow it from Libby.
yeah,
It's the new one she had come out this year. And as I was looking up on Goodreads just some things about it, and I pull up because it's part, and then I see it's part of a series. The next book is coming out next year, and it's about the Grim Reaper.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
It's called Grim Tidings about the Grim Reaper, who is a girl, by the way.
Ooh.
She's tired of her life as the Grim Reaper. So,
well, that's got to be very monotonous to be the Grim
I know. So I will definitely read that. I immediately was like, I'm going to check Edelweiss. I'm going to check Nat Galley, see if I can get
When's
that.
it come out? Maybe that
It
could be
just
our.
says 2026. So
Oh, okay.
there's no
Yeah.
date on Goodreads, but um, this is one too. I saw a lot on TikTok. It was either hot or it was people hated it. And I
Yeah.
don't know why. I was like, how could you not like this? It's super cute. Then I did 10 Things I Hate About Mistletoe, Cody Hall. I read her other series about the siblings. It all takes place in Mistletoe, Idaho.
Hmm.
And the siblings, the Christmas siblings, Holly, Mary, and Nick. Now
Nice.
it still goes back to Mistletoe, but it's like they're friends. So
Yeah.
she's got this new series. Um, this was our favorite, the enemies to lovers, to enemies to lovers. Because
Yes.
they're enemies, but then they hook up and then they kind of ghost each other and don't
Yeah.
talk to each other for a year, or they think the other person doesn't like them.
Hmm.
And then they start hanging out and becoming friends, and then they become lovers again. So obviously typical rom-com plot in a
Yeah.
town known for Christmas, which makes it super fun. Delilah, the main character, is the best friend of Holly from Along Came Holly, which is one of my favorite holiday books. These ones are spicy. Like that's why I was like, Cody
Spicy.
Hall writes way, way spicier than Lori Gilmore. So and then I have two more booked. I listened to these two. Booked for the Holidays by Liz Maverick. It was one of those, it was free on Audible and decent lengthwise. And I was like, when I'm running around, it would be a good one to listen to. Did not realize it was Hanukkah, which I really appreciated. So not a Christmas story, but a
Oh,
Hanukkah
nice.
story. Both main characters are Jewish, and so they're celebrating Hanukkah at the time. Abby Shore is your main character. She is sent by the publishing company to help the great D.B. Ziegler finish her latest novel. But of course, when she gets there, DB's not there. The grandson is and says, she can't finish this, but I have to.
Hmm.
And of course, they end up working together. So you get the close proximity because she ends up, oh, I have to stay at the house. And oh, a snowstorm is here and I
Oh,
can't leave. And, the cute,
the whole. Yeah.
fun stuff. I would love to know if some of these recipes are available, like if you had the book,
Mhm.
because he
Yeah.
bakes all of the Hanukkah recipes that he learned growing up. So he's
Mhm.
constantly baking and talking, lots of food in this one,
Okay.
talking about all these Hanukkah desserts. And I'm like, I didn't know that existed. That sounds
Yeah.
delicious.
I had it in my description of the third Love Light Farms book. They eat so much junk. How do these people not weigh 900 pounds? That's what I want to know.
Gosh.
I mean, they're talking about like eating cupcakes and eating cinnamon rolls and whatever. I was like, oh my
I
God.
know. I
And
feel
it all
like
sounds so good.
after December, I'm like, I need a month of salads.
Yes.
Right.
My body is like screaming for vegetables. Like it's not
Yes.
even just me. It's like
It's like, yeah.
last one I read or listened to, little disappointing. Her Last Christmas, Claire McGowan. Emma joins her new boyfriend and his friends in the Alps during their Christmas skiing holiday. But the friends are rich and the friends are awful. Like
Mm.
people you
Mm.
do not like. I
Yeah.
just hated all of them. They wake up, of course, on Christmas morning to find one of them dead in the hot tub.
Oh, okay.
And of course, there's a snowstorm and they're in the Alps. And so no one can get to them. But everyone in the town hates this girl who owns this house.
Wait.
And
What is it? No,
it's
that's 'cause
called Her Last
that's-
Christmas. Yeah. And I remember remember when we all read Before I Fall and we're like, I don't want to keep reading it because I hate the main characters. And then I
Yeah.
continued reading it. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, it's so good. These characters had nothing
Just didn't.
redeeming. Even at the end, it was like, mhm. So of course she has to find the killer before the killer finds her, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she's the outcast because she's the new girlfriend. And these guys have all known each other forever. There was like rampant drug use. Like all of a sudden they're like partying and they're just start snorting coke. And I'm like, okay, that's awkward. One of the things I hated for this, so I teach film class, and one of the things we talk about are Hitchcock's filming techniques, not to get too boring.
Yes.
One of the things that Hitchcock does not like in any of his films, and I've noticed this in books, is that you can only have one moment of chance. In other words, like coincidence.
Yeah.
So, and this book had too many, where it was
Mm.
like, oh,
Okay.
she happens to go down the mountain, and oh, there happened to be this person driving by. That kind of
Okay.
thing, chance.
Yeah.
And so when you think about it, like the good books, Hitchcock thinks that characters need to do things on their own merit.
Yeah.
Not just because someone was at the right place at the right time. And
Right.
if that happens
There has
too
to be
much.
some sort of like choices made.
Yes. And so in this book, I felt there was too many coincidences. And then
Okay.
and it wrapped up too neatly at the end where you were like,
Mhm.
well, wait, how? It can't be
How?
that easy for her to get away
Right.
once
Yeah.
she figures out who the killer is. She's got to
Yeah.
it's not that easy. So that really bothered me. But it was it literally was like a 4-hour audiobook.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the author said, "Hey, I'm going to write a Christmas novella." And she hit her 4 hours and went, "I'm ending it," instead
And
of,
we're done.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And that's the end of the story.
so apparently this was the month of endings that were
Yeah.
left us hanging, right?
Yes,
Because Marianne had a
exactly.
couple
I
too.
have one that has an ending that's left us hanging as well.
Like the same.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Kate, you're
I
up next.
I was disappointed, not disappointed with it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had like a pretty solid reading month, but I read a lot of really short books. So it's going to sound like I
Okay.
read a lot, but there was several graphic novels and a bunch of little novellas. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like crazy. But we've been going to the library with our students, so I've been picking up a lot of graphic novels and reading them. And
Mhm.
I couldn't my students were like, "What is wrong with you?" Because I could not have been more excited to find the Shira and the Princess of Power, the
Yeah.
Legend of the
I
Fire
saw that
Princess.
on there and I was like, wow.
I was like, yeah, I picked it up so fast. I was obsessed with Shira as a child. I was probably Shira multiple times for Halloween. With like back in the day when you had like the plastic
Oh yeah.
costume with like the plastic mat, you were
I
just like
can
one walking fire hazard.
I can
Oh,
still
yeah.
smell that mask if I
Yeah.
think about it.
Mhm. Yeah. But Shira was my absolute favorite, and it was so fun to
Mhm.
like look at it because it's a newer book, so it's kind of written through the
Mhm.
lens of like now. But it was still like she's learning how to use her powers and like fix the
Right,
rune
right.
stones, and I was like, oh my god, I love this. So that was the first book I read, followed immediately by the graphic novel of Bunnicula, which is one of my favorite, short stories. My
Yes,
middle grade
yes.
horror, like loved that. It was so good. And the art was like, for a graphic novel, it was very cartoony, which I actually
Okay.
kind of appreciated because you were
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck am I looking at?" Like, it was great. And then I'm gonna if you're looking at my list right now, we're going out of order because 'cause I'm talking about
Right,
the
right.
next 3 and last. So I read An American Sunrise by Joy Harjo. She is a indigenous poet, and this book covered so much ground, and it's so beautiful. And if you like poetry and you have not read any of Joy Harjo's stuff, highly recommend. She
Okay.
really ties together storytelling and history and kind of just like life lessons,
Mhm.
and like I always know like a book is good if I read it on like a hardcover, but I had my phone out
Mhm.
taking pictures of like sections that I wanted to remember because it's a library book. So I
Right.
know it's good if I'm like snapshotting pictures to be like,
Mhm.
I want to come back to this. I want to reference this. This is an absolutely beautiful poetry book. Then I read The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, and I'm not going to talk about that at all. I loved this book. I'm
Oh,
so glad
really?
we picked it.
Oh, good.
But
Yay.
this is our next featured book of
Book
the
of the
month,
month. Mhm.
and I read it on my Kindle, and I took so many notes that were like, "Oh my god, did this person do it?" Like, "Oh my god, what did they do?" Like, I was like trying to solve this puzzle the whole
Yep,
time,
yep.
and I did not figure it out till very close to the end. So like
Okay, good.
top notch, and we're gonna dig way into that later. And then this was an audiobook. It's technically a upper elementary middle grade, and it's called The One Thing You'd Save. It's by Linda Sue Park, who's one of my favorite
Okay.
authors. And it's uh it's a teacher who presents kind of a thought exercise to her students. If your house was on fire
Mhm.
and anything living does not need to be saved, like pets, animals, family, like you do not have to save people. What is the one thing you would save?
That's
And from there,
that's
the
in
book
Leap Year.
yeah.
Remember that in the
Yeah,
movie
yeah,
Leap
yeah.
Year? Mhm.
From there, the book, uh, kind of takes each student's perspective of what they
Okay.
would save, and as different students bring different things up, other students start to reconsider, like, "Oh," like, there's, like,
Maybe
this
I
one
would've,
girl who
yeah.
wears, like, this one sweater every single day, and people are like, "Don't tell me you're gonna save that sweater." And she's like, "That sweater was knit by my grandmother, and then when she died,
Yes.
my other grandmother, like, fixed the holes. So
Mm.
I'm not saving a sweater. I'm
Right.
saving these
A
memories with
memory,
my
yeah.
grandmother."
That's so
And
cool.
then that kind of spawns another kid to think about, well,
Well,
okay,
wait, I have
so
this and yeah.
yeah, and, like, things that from the outside may look kind of, like, innocuous or even a little silly, like little
Mhm.
toy like ceramic animals. Like what you're saving is the memory and the connection and the emotion that's attached to it. So it's really, really interesting to watch the characters go from kind of like surface level to really thinking deeply about what is the one thing you would save. And it made me think about like, well, what is like the one thing I would
Yeah.
save? So it's a really, and I listened to it and it has like a bazillion narrators. So like it's easy to follow of like which kid's talking about which thing. So I really liked that one. Then I read Dating at the End of the World by Geneva Rose. And this is my one where I did not like, I loved the ending, but I did not like the ending because it left me hanging and I don't know if there's going to be any more. And Geneva Rose is one of my favorites. I love the way she writes and I love her on social media. But this one,
Although now that
Sarah,
she's not twirling pregnant into Target, it's not
quite
quite
the
as cute.
same.
I know.
But I think, Sarah, you read this one, right?
Yep, I did.
So we have talked about it before. But essentially, this is not the first apocalypse necessarily. And her father, the main character's father, is like a doomsday prepper. And she gets this
That
poor
was right.
girl gets like unmercilessly bullied as a child for like having to go home and have to like help her dad build the compound and like collect cans of, food that aren't going to go bad. And she gets out of Dodge as fast as she can, ends up in the city, and then holy shit, it's the zombie apocalypse.
Oh, no.
And she's uniquely prepared to survive.
Like
So it sounds
randomly.
Yes.
It sounds
And-
like The Great Alone meets like the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. And she makes her way back to her dad's compound and where she encounters her biggest bully, who is now like her dad's best buddy. And they are so antagonistic to each other. And I loved it. I loved that they didn't even try to pretend that they were gonna get along. They were like, nope, we hate each other, but we're gonna share a room. But like, fuck you very much, sir.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he wasn't a bully anymore at that point, but he was so like, you could tell he enjoyed making her.
Yes. Oh,
angry.
yes.
I thought it was great. And then at the end, you think you're about to have like a kind of happy, I'm not going to tell you what it is because you haven't read it yet, no spoilers, but you think you're about to have a happy resolution. And then it's like, but wait, there's more. And then there isn't more.
And
then
I'm
it
not
just
going to tell
ends.
you.
Yes. So
But there
hope
definitely
there's more.
could be more. She's
There could be
definitely,
more.
like leaving the door open.
Yes. So I hope that there's more to this story because I really liked the characters. And yeah, I'm going to talk about it way more later because it is the answer to one of my questions. But I did love that book. And then we're going to get to my unhinged books for the month. But I actually read 3. And when we looked at the synopsis to these books, they're all by S. Alexander. They're all part of a series. And they sounded like they were going to be crazy. They're part of the steamy Christmas monster romance short read series. And there's definitely some smut, like make no mistake. They were so sweet. Like they were I was like, oh wait, like they're really well written and they're super adorable. So I read The Stocking Stuffer is the one that we picked collectively as a group. That one is about a girl that she hates the holidays and she's kind of forced to go to her work Christmas party. She's just trying to escape. She goes into the supply closet. She finds like a folded piece of paper and like makes like a weird little wish. And suddenly Incubus shows up, Lucian, the Incubus, and they get freaky in the supply closet. It's like, maybe the magic of Christmas isn't found under the tree. Maybe it's in the arms of an incubus who came down the chimney just for me. But it was like it was super smutty, but like remarkably sweet. And the author did a really good job of giving each of kind of our monsters a legitimate backstory, like why this person's there. The one that I liked the most of the 3 is Under the Mistletoe with the Yeti. Because it's a girl who's trying to be like a adventure wilderness influencer, and to continue to gain followers and keep followers, she keeps putting herself in increasingly dangerous positions and situations. So she's out in the middle of nowhere in the Arctic. She's in a tent that should hold, and it doesn't. So a storm blows in, and her shit gets ripped to shreds. So she's like, I'm gonna die. Like I'm gonna die on video. And like, this is it for me. And then the Yeti shows up. His name is Bjorn, and he is 8 feet tall, firm muscle, and like she keeps saying, like when he talks, it sounds like thunder. Like he's got this very little voice.
Oh my
like, low
gosh.
voice. But he also like just kind of very sweetly rescues her and like takes her back to his cabin and warms her up. And then it gets very smutty for a little while. And he's the logistics manager is his like job for Christmas miracles. That's his job. He's the logistics manager. And he has given up on love because who would want to live like in the middle of nowhere
Oh.
with him? And in the end, it's like the very very smutty, but then very sweetly, she's like, I do want to live here because I can do my
Oh,
job as like an adventure influencer, you know, here.
that's funny.
Like this is everything I could have ever wanted. So that one was very sweet. And then the smuttiest of the bunch we'll talk about last is a Krampus kind of Christmas. And this is the Naughty North Pole book 6, part of the series. And our main character is having the fucking worst Christmas of her life. She is just, she's miserable. She snaps and kind of like says some really horrific things. And as she's like basically throwing a temper tantrum in her house, like just she is, and we've all been there. Where like you are at your wit's end, you are done. And she's like losing her shit. And all of a sudden there's like lightning, smoke, and like poof, the Krampus shows up. And is like, I'm here to judge you. And basically kidnaps her. Like he just straight up is like, shut the fuck up. I'm taking you back to my lair. He chains her up. Like this is definitely the most unhinged of the bunch that I
Wow.
read. There are
Yeah.
so many more. And most people, like the Krampus is like, the fuck is this girl? Because most people will try to be like, will like cower in fear. And she's like, let's fight. And she just like kind of like starts mouthing off and tries to escape. And he's like, good luck, you better run. And then like chases her through the lair, catches her. And this is where it gets like, we get into like the more like erotica kind of story more than the
Mhm.
others. He like bends her over his knee and spanks her. And she's like, yep, I do like that. Like, thanks so much. And he immediately is like smitten. He is like, oh, like you might be the perfect person for me. And then he's like the Lord of Punishment. And it becomes like all of a sudden this very sweet, like second chancey kind of romance, even though they haven't been together before, they both need a second chance at like love and
Right.
like find it with each other. And I was like, oh my God, like suddenly it's a very sweet romance. So
Right.
we thought these were going to be way, way more unhinged than they were. They are very sweet and
Okay.
very cute and also very smutty. So if you are into monster romance, go grab these. They're pretty solid. So those are my books that I
No, you forgot one. You have
Did I-
one down
wait.
on the next page, and it's
Oh,
not
no.
unhinged.
It's
And
not
I-
unhinged.
and I-
We're not
I want
unhinged,
to hear
unhinged.
about this one. I want to hear
Okay.
about this one. 'cause
So
I'm
I found
super
this one at the
interested.
library. I wish I had it downstairs. It's upstairs right now. It's called Star Wars and History. It's by Nancy R. Reagan, not the First Lady Nancy Reagan.
Because she's dead.
and
So it'd be
because
hard
she's
for her
dead.
to read.
dead.
This is actually it's actually a fairly old book too. So I just saw if it says Star Wars, I'm in. Like
Yeah.
Star Wars is my absolute number one fandom, and it's been number one for a very, very long time. So Star Wars and History takes a look at it doesn't really look into the most recent 3, like the last 3 of the Skywalker
Right.
trilogy with Rey and Kylo Ren. But it looks predominantly at the original 3 movies and then the prequels, but looks at what events in history could have influenced or at least parallel
Mhm.
some of the things that happen in the Star Wars universe. So some of them are fairly obvious, like the Jedi and the Shaolin monks. Like there's some parallels that like are kind of clear and obvious. But what I really liked was she compares, and she has lots of like I don't want to say guest writers is maybe not the right
Okay.
word, but there are a lot of other contributors to the work that how does like the battle at Yorktown parallel some of the fights?
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people look at the Empire as being very Nazi coded,
Mm-hmm.
and which it in many ways it is,
It is. I mean,
especially
they're
in
called
the
stormtroopers, like
right.
literally,
And
and yeah.
especially in the
But
most recent 3
yes,
when we see General Hux,
yes.
speaking
Oh yeah.
on the deck, and that is a very clear parallel
Very yeah.
to kind of some of the Nazi party and how they did, like, rallies and whatnot.
Mhm.
But she really looks at some of these, American ideals, and what I kind of found interesting was, in some cases, we're the Empire, and in some cases, we're the
Mm,
rebellion.
yeah.
And especially if you're looking at Vietnam, and she parallels Vietnam and the Viet Cong to Endor and the Ewoks, and
Okay.
how one of the reasons that America struggled to gain any sort of footing in Vietnam was because we didn't know the land, we didn't know the culture, we didn't understand
Yep.
how
Yep.
to exist kind of in their climate, and
Mhm.
but we were the bad guys,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
in that movie, when the Empire is coming into Endor, that's how the rebellion is able to take hold, because the Ewoks are able to move through kind of
Yeah.
the environment in a way that the Empire didn't understand and couldn't combat. So there's these really interesting parallels to military. That was the first chapter, kind of really looked at military. And then it moved into cultures, with the monks and some training stuff. But it was a really, I don't want to say it was a heavy read, because it was a very quick read, especially if
Mhm.
you're someone who already has studied history or is, interested in
Yeah.
history, because she's saying things and you're like, oh my God, yeah. Like, you don't really have to dig any farther into it if you kind of have already studied history.
Mhm.
But you're like, I don't know that I would have made that parallel myself. But once she says
Mhm.
it, you're like, oh shit. Like, yeah, the
She
Ewoks
right.
are kind of like,
Yeah.
guerrilla warfare. And you can even like connect that back to like Francis Marion, the Swamp Fox in the American Revolution. The idea that you know the environment and you can use that to your advantage. And I was like, dang, like,
That's
well done. Like,
fascinating.
it's a really good book. And I was
Well,
like, I'm surprised I didn't have it on my shelf already, because it feels
and
like
those
something
of
I
us
would have bought
Star
previously.
Wars nerds, we know
Yeah,
this. Like, we know that
right.
George
You,
Lucas wrote those, like,
yes,
there's a whole I mean, he used Joseph Campbell's
100%.
Hero of the
Yep.
Thousand Faces. Like, he's talked about that. It
Yes.
follows the hero's journey
Yes.
perfectly, and so I find that interesting. I have a Star Wars book too, and I'm gonna have to find it because I don't remember that
I
my
have,
dad gave me. It's along the same lines, like
yeah. I
literary
have
how Star Wars and literary
probably
stuff.
yeah. I have an entire bookshelf that's just only Star Wars books,
Yeah.
and I every Christmas break I watch all 9 movies. Like, I do them in kamikaze order, but I watch all 9
Yeah.
movies and I'll throw the shows in there. It's been my favorite for forever.
Forever.
Well, so
Yeah.
it was fun to find a book that I had not read before, and to kinda
Yes.
gain a little things that you already knew, but also some, like, different insight. Like, I
Right.
don't know that it would have said, like, "Yeah, the battle at Yorktown," but, like, once she said it, I
Oh,
was like,
yeah,
"Yeah, the
yeah, yeah,
battle at
yeah.
Yorktown."
Yeah.
Like, for sure. So, yeah,
That's
that was my
fun.
last book. Not
Okay.
unhinged at all,
No, not.
but there.
Yeah. You just proved that you are intellectual, right? You don't
I
just read
am.
unhinged
Yes.
books. You're
I
like, I'm reading kind of a
Which is always,
nonfiction
like,
about
sometimes when I talk to people about the podcast and I'm like, "Yeah," and then I talk about really unhinged books, and then, if there are people that I work with or people that I know for a while, they'll be like, Don't don't you have multiple master's degrees?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"I do. I
I
do, in
do.
fact. I have multiple master's degrees in, like, library science, Native American history, and cultural heritage, restoration."
Yeah.
Like, I do have a lot of academic learning under my belt, but also I really appreciate a Yeti.
Is
Like,
there a like, is there a pop culture, masters you could get?
There
Because
you go. Pop
there
I think you
culture.
there
could ace
probably
that
is one.
one.
Yeah. Well, so the cultural heritage preservation degree, not to go, like, totally sideways, was, I did that at Syracuse University, and it's probably one of my favorite degrees I've ever done. I had to pick when I went to library school, I had to pick my concentration, and I picked school media to begin with, and then when I saw they were gonna do away with the cultural heritage preservation degree, they were like, this is your last year to do it. And I was like, oh, I have to do it. Like I have to, because I'm so interested in kind of the archival side of libraries. But then it morphed into a lot of cultural, like I did a lot of stuff with like Native American studies in that program, and how we preserve lands and history. But my capstone project, which was absolutely massive and required it isn't a dissertation because it's just a certificate of advanced study, but it is kind of treated as like a mini one. Like I had to present to like a bunch of people, but my topic was the devil in pop culture.
Oh,
Was my cultural heritage preservation, like
I love
final
that.
capstone project was how has the devil been represented in pop culture from Dante. I kind of started with the Bible and then Dante's Inferno up through at that point, like Lucifer was in Supernatural was a big one. And the show Lucifer had just come out. So I looked at like how do we rectify that with religion, but also like, dang, he hot in a suit. Like so yeah, my very academic, cultural heritage preservation degree was capped off with me talking about the devil in pop culture across centuries.
It's all
It was
good,
super fun. It was super fun.
All right, let's get to our rapid fire questions from all that. We read a lot of books this month. So
we did read a lot of books.
What character would you want to go on a road trip with Marianne?
Okay, I said Judah Klein who was the wedding singer in Soon by You, because I wouldn't need Spotify. He could just sing to me.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking of The Wedding Singer. The movie The Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of bar
movies.
He can't do weddings anymore because he's like, he got dumped, so he does bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, makes me think of it. Adam Sandler plays it. That's it.
I know, but
movie.
Yeah,
but he's also got like a recording contract, and he has a Hanukkah album out.
Ooh,
and
so he's
and
like,
he just and so he's got like his whole following on social media. He doesn't really do social media, but other people video him and
put him
on there. Yeah, so. He's like the hot in both ways, like hot as in popular and hot as in good looking Jewish Orthodox wedding singer. So
good.
Nice.
All right, Kit.
So I could answer. I can't even believe I almost forgot to talk about the Star Wars book, because I could answer every question with a character from Star Wars, but I'm limiting myself to just this one because the book was about the history of Star Wars and not necessarily Star Wars characters. However, number one on my hear me out cake is Chewbacca. And if you've ever seen my pictures from Disney World, when you get to meet Chewbacca, you can tell I'm infatuated. I'm smitten. I love Chewbacca. I would leave my husband for him in a heartbeat. And I would want a road trip through the galaxy in the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca. Yeah. Full stop. Even more than
Han Solo?
Yeah, I mean, I love Han Solo, but like Chewbacca, man. I don't know what it is. I think it's the height. I think it's the height. It's the way he carries himself.
Yeah.
Like
you didn't say Jabba the Hutt. I'd be a little worried if you were like,
no.
The giant worm creature. I'm obsessed.
Love Chewbacca.
Would you be able to understand him, or is you just gonna?
If I was living in that world and could road trip with Chewbacca, I would definitely understand him.
You're gonna talk to him in Wookiee.
And have you ever? Yes. Have you ever gone and gotten your picture taken with Chewbacca at like Galaxy? Okay, so he is. I don't know who the person is that plays him, because it's not a person. It's really Chewbacca. He's really
it really is.
He is remarkably good at communicating. Without words. Like there's pictures of me and him, God bless the photographer who took like 75 pictures, having an entire conversation about our hair.
Okay.
Without words. Yes. And I was like,
are these pictures on social media? Because I am very intrigued.
On my Facebook. I'll pull them up and I will post them. I repost them every year when they come up. So they should be coming up soon, because we usually visit Disney World in February. But I will try and find them. Yep. But it's when I had the really short mohawk, and it was a rainbow. It was a rainbow mohawk that year. And I walked in and he was like, and I was like, oh my gosh. I could not love a character more. As good. Number
that's
one on my
awesome.
hear me out cake. Right above Bumblebee from Transformers. So
Oh my gosh. Maybe we need a whole episode on the hear me out cakes.
Yes, we should. That could be a bonus episode. We can make our own hear me out cakes, and you guys are gonna pick really nice ones, and I'm gonna be like, and then I would like to talk about this hunk of metal.
I have some pretty crazy ones too. All right, I don't know how I can follow that one, but my road trip would be Nolan from Good Spirits. Number one, because he's hot and he's Irish. Number two, I love when he realizes he just likes being with Harriet. Like he just sits, she runs an antique shop and he just sits with her and watches her work. And I think it'd be somebody that'd be easy to road trip with because they just want to be with you.
Yeah.
They're not there to like, okay, entertain me or let's go do something. He just
no pressure.
Wants to be around her.
Yeah.
Complete aside, but you know how Kit was talking about how you want to do like a fandom VRBO Airbnb.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yep.
For your Twilight room, you have to have like a full size audio animatronic of Edward watching
just like
watching you sleep.
It like comes out from behind the curtain, like, like you can't see him.
Maybe he growls once in a while. You know,
it'll be like just a little bit of a smell.
Maybe he comes out after you've already fallen asleep and just sits by your bed.
Yep. He just watches
extra
over
points
you.
If you can get him to climb in the window.
I bet I can figure it out. I bet we can figure out a way to make him just like pop up in the window. And then also like there has to be like a rando spider monkey just like hanging out.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyways, where are some places you guys would like to go from your books this month, Sarah?
I said Mistletoe, Idaho, if it actually existed. I think it's one of those like the cute little romance novels that we read that take place in those cute small towns. And Mistletoe is all about Christmas. They have a Christmas festival and they have store decorations. They get all into the holidays and it just seems so cute. And everybody knows everybody and there's mountains and it's really pretty. So that's where I would like to go.
Nice.
How about you, Marianne?
Along those same lines, I would go to Love Light Farms from the Love Light Farm series, which is a Christmas tree farm and Layla's Bakehouse. And it's kind of like vaguely on the Maryland shore. I don't remember the name of the little town that it's set by, but they make a couple of references to going to like the shore in Maryland. So I would pick that one. How about you, Kit?
Even though it's the Arctic Circle and very, very cold, I picked the cabin from Under the Mistletoe with the Yeti because I've on my bucket list forever. I want to see the Northern Lights and I've seen them here in Colorado, but it's not the same because here it's on the horizon. I want to be, directly under them where they're swimming over your head and you get that every single night at Bjorn's cabin. And that would be amazing. Like that. So that's what I picked. I'd like to go to the Arctic and with a Yeti and look at the Northern Lights. All right. Did we? No, we didn't. I thought we skipped one on accident. No. All right. What character would you like to have dinner with? Marianne.
Okay, I picked Layla from Mixed Signals, which was Love Light number 3, because she's the one who owns the bakehouse. And so dinner would solely consist of pastries and cupcakes and cookies. Like screw regular food. They'll eat all the sweets that she bakes. So that's my pick. How about you, Kit?
I had a really hard time answering this one. There was not a great front runner, except for Han Solo. But that's mostly for reasons of it being like Harrison Ford. I'm like, he could take me to the cantina and it would be great. And he'd probably like shoot someone and it would be fine. But in a Krampus kind of Christmas, it wraps up with essentially a huge banquet in this like ice castle kind of thing. And all the characters from all the different books. So there's like a siren, there's the incubus. They all come with like their significant others and have this like phenomenal Christmas meal. And every single item of food they talked about, I was like, yeah, I would like to try that. So I picked that, like very specifically that meal. So less of a character, but I would absolutely love to be at a table with a Yeti, the Krampus, an incubus, a storm siren. Like I want to see all of those things. And there's also tons of other humans there. So you're not totally out of your element and you get to dress up super fancy and eat awesome food. I would pick that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Like,
Nice.
okay.
How about you, Sarah?
I struggled this month in general with these questions because most of the characters didn't really like stand out to me other than the ones in 10 Things I Hate About Mistletoe and Good
Yeah.
Spirits. And obviously Grace and Henry, but we spent a lot of time
Yes.
talking about that. But everything else was just kind of like,
yeah.
okay. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to include those.
Yeah.
But I said basically anyone in Mistletoe.
Yep.
First of all, Cody Hall is super creative about naming like
Yeah.
all of the restaurants and bars and stuff like that. And it just seems like a really fun town. Just about anyone I would just want to hang out with and chat,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, all those thrillers? No, I don't want to be with any
You
of these
don't want to be in the
right?
middle of that.
I was
Thank
like,
you.
no, thank you. No, thank
Yeah.
you.
I did. I was tempted to answer this one with an answer from The Hunting Party. Not that I wanted, but because the
I
food
know.
was so central to it. And
We
I was like,
talk a
we're
lot
gonna
about
get it.
the food.
We're
Yeah.
gonna talk about that later. That can't be my answer here.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yep.
I totally get that. All right. That
Okay.
brings us to our
Oh,
top
gosh, the
recommendations
top
for the month.
recommendation.
Your top book of the month.
Oh, golly gosh. Ooh, I have to
Oh,
go back
golly
and look at my
gumdrop.
books before we get to
I
that.
know. Everything
Right.
was
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'm up first.
Go
Go
for it,
ahead.
Mary. If you know what yours is, go for it.
Yeah.
I would go with Saoirse. It's an
Mhm.
arc. It comes out in April. I got it from, I believe, Celadon Books. And it was just really powerful. And it's set in Ireland, which I love. So I would pick that one. How about you, Sarah?
Man. Okay. One has to be two, I feel like.
Okay.
Well, I feel like everyone should read Fahrenheit 451.
Yes. Yep.
I feel like it's just one of those culturally, and it's so relevant right now.
And if you've already read it, you should go back and read it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and read it.
So I have a hard time not picking that as my top, but my
Yeah.
top would be Good Spirits, BK Borison.
Yeah.
I think I liked that
I
one the
read that
most
one.
of all the holiday
Yep.
ones I read. I just thought it was really cute and loved the premise behind it. The whole watching Nolan kind of live his life as this random ghost in the middle of Annapolis. Like,
Mhm.
so
But why?
I know he's like, he goes back to his apartment and everything. And he's like, but he's a ghost. Like, how does
Yeah.
this happen? But it's so funny. So
Yeah.
How about you, Kit?
I picked Dating at the End of the World by Geneva Rose. I read this book so fast, and I was lucky enough to grab it from the library. I like reading hard copies better than on my Kindle. So I was really excited that it was like on the shelf of like newer books. I thought it was a little predictable in some spots, but there was enough twists and turns that kept you on your toes that I didn't really mind. That some spots were like, I don't want to give anything away, but like I knew her fiance was a bad but then maybe he's not. Like there was enough. Like I thought I knew it was happening, and then it was like,
and you're like, but
and it
is
was like, like,
he?
wait a minute, maybe he's not. And then you're like, I'm not gonna tell you whether he ends up being a bad guy or a good guy, but there was enough twists in it that you were like, oh, okay, like it kept you on your toes. I also appreciated, I think sometimes authors are hesitant to like kill people off. But it's an apocalypse. Like people are gonna die.
People are
I
gonna die in this
really
one. Yep.
appreciated that she did not shy away from like kind of those hard moments of like the realities of the situation. If this was real life, you're gonna have to deal with some like trauma and grief. And I'm really glad that she like stuck to that, stuck to her guns there. And the cliffhanger at the end is so sharp. Like it is so like it is one line. You think you are getting one ending, and then there's one more sentence, and it changes literally everything. I thought it was a brilliant cliffhanger, and I was so mad. Like I out loud was like, I do believe. Like I read, I'm in the room, my husband's sitting on the other couch. And I straight up just went, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, I was audibly annoyed that it ended that way. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, fucking brilliant, Geneva Rose. Like, what a great ending.
Yes.
But I hope it's not the ending. I hope there's more to come.
It'd be
She
a fun
can enjoy
series.
having like a new baby and whatnot. But
it
like,
could be a fun series for sure.
Maybe someday, please. So,
I just realized that Saoirse actually comes out in February, not April. So just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. All right. That's our stack of books for this month. That was a lot of books. Well done.
It was.
Nice job, team. So, with that in mind, what do we have coming up next, Sarah?
I decided to start the new year with a new series. I purchased the Kindred Curse saga. Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole off Audible a few months ago. Like maybe I bought one with a credit, and then the next one was 99 cents, and the other one they were
Yeah.
super cheap on Audible. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm just gonna buy all of these because it's worth it.
Yeah.
And little shout out to a podcast that I do listen to, the Fantasy Fangirls. They deep dived this series, and so I was like, I want to go back and listen to those episodes
Yeah.
where they were doing the deep dive. I'm not like 100% sold on it yet, and I feel like I'm really far in that I should be.
Oh, that you should like
So I'm a little, but I'm hoping it's one of those that I've heard that she's really good at world building, and so I think she's just spending a lot of time getting to the point, so to speak. But I'm listening to those, so that's where I'm starting my year at. How about you, Marianne?
I'm reading an arc called Save the Date by Mallory Cass, and that one comes out in April. It follows there's 3 storylines: Marigold, Olivia, and Natalie. Marigold's getting married. Olivia is her sister, and Natalie is her best friend. And they're at her wedding. I've had about 20% left to read, and so I'm hoping to finish it tonight. And then after that, I'm going to read How to Read a Book for my book club.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen stuff about it. I'm going into it pretty blind other than the name of it. It's by Monica Wood. And it looks like there's a bookstore on the front of it, so I'm assuming it has something to do with a book club. And Kit.
So I'm reading a book called Coyote Nowhere right now. It's by John Holt and has photographs and images from Ginny Deers. And the subline to it is In Search of America's Last Frontier. So this is right up my kind of like alley for in terms of like history. And it looks at the idea of like the real West versus the kind of depiction of what people think the West was.
okay.
So it looks at specifically the northern high plains of America and into Canada, and I'm only about a quarter of the way through it, but so far what I really like is sometimes when you look at these books, they really aim at like one perspective, but this one has done a really good job so far of looking at kind of all the people that were existing on the land at that point. So ranchers, Native American tribes, the military that was setting up, all the different forts and whatnot, and how they interacted with each other. And then the struggle between like surviving on the high plains, which is no joke, but also how do you push back against development? What does it mean to have wild and remote places? So it covers a lot of ground, and I picked it up because the title is what caught my eye. It's from a phrase in Jack Kerouac's On the Road. So I was like, ooh,
Okay.
okay. So I'm liking that one a lot so far, and it definitely is a departure from some of the other books I've read recently. So it's nice to balance out a little bit. And that, friends, brings us to choosing this month's most unhinged read.
It's time.
It's that time again. And Marianne made the brilliant suggestion to jump to Valentine's Day themed books, which gave me a lot of ground to cover here on the Amazon Kindle Unlimited. So I'm going to give you some choices.
Okay.
And we will go from there. The number 1 on the list is from the Holiday Horrors series. It is Bleed for Cupid, a dark monster romance. So that's choice number 1. I'm going to give you no context whatsoever. Number 2 is The Scary Book of Valentine's Day Lore, 50 terrifying tales of romance from around the world. So that one feels like there's a lot of mileage that can go there.
Yeah. Okay.
Our next choice is straight up. It's called Valentine's Day with a Vampire. It's from the Monster Smut Collection.
Oh, that
And
sounds like a winner.
Pulp noir. So I like that. It's a nice little novella. We have 2 more choices. Next is Stupid Cupid. Humans aren't pets.
Stupid.
Oh,
Stupid Cupid. And your last choice on our list, saving the most unhinged title for last, it is My Tentacle Romance. The best Valentine's Day ever. A romantic tentacle pregnancy erotica.
that does sound the most unhinged.
I'm most curious about that one, I feel like.
I was really
second-
curious
there's
about the humans or pets.
two books
you know.
in that
the Cupid
series.
one, I know, Stupid Cupid,
Yeah.
or
Stupid Cupid, great title. Stupid Cupid, Human Art Pets. Do we want a little more information about those two books?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so Stupid Cupid first. Let me open up a new screen over here. It is part of the Holiday Court Monsters series by E.M. Dark. And it says, roses are red, violets are blue, and you, sweet girl, caught Cupid's attention. You want to play, there's a word in Spanish that I don't know how to pronounce, muñeca? Cupid isn't a little sweet winged creature with a bow and arrow who shoots you with his arrows of love from his bow. This is great writing already. He is an unhinged blood elf with a curse that brings chaos and death. He uses his curse to run the hell that humans create, and he manages to profit off it too. But that may bring him more issues as human women start going missing in alarming numbers. On a mission to clear his name, he encounters a human who challenges and piques his curiosity. Scarlett Sanchez was just offered a deal she can't refuse, one that puts her in the clutches of Cupid, who is the patron of a cartel and a ruler of hell in the Holiday Court. Cupid knows that Scarlett is the perfect pet, just a pretty toy for him to play with, but neither expects to fall for each other. Will Cupid learn to tame his madness and truly love Scarlett, or will he abandon her like everybody else in her life? Can Scarlett escape Cupid's clutches, or will she fall too deep into the madness? So that's number one of our final two choices. And my tentacle romance, like My Chemical Romance, got me every time. And the cover, I need you to just look at. I need you to look at My Tentacle Romance.
Okay.
Jennifer is heartbroken when she ends up single on Valentine's Day. Little does she know her evening is about to heat up when she stumbles upon a cave where her true Valentine dwells. Seduced by a slippery, wet tentacle monster, Jen strips down to her lacy red
my
lingerie.
God.
She is eager for the creature to fill her body with its warm, wet tentacles. It's not hearts, teddy bears, or chocolate that Jen will be getting this Valentine's Day. It's something slimy and slippery wet.
That cover is ridiculous.
Insane, right?
Oh my God.
Insane.
I think you need
And
to
the
do that
author
one.
is Amber
I
Fox.
think that's the winner.
You think
Like
that's
that cover is
I need you to know
unreal.
that I can read both, because apparently this one's only 16 pages long.
Oh, it is. Yes.
Oh my God.
But there's another one. But there's a second one.
On that. My Tentacle Romance Part 2.
That's a really
Tantalizing
creative
time with a tentacle monster.
title.
Tantalizing time with a tentacle monster.
An egg-filled happily ever after. Oh my God.
The fact that in all these they're all she definitely writes tentacle porn, and a lot of them are all about getting pregnant by tentacles. The names of these series, this of course is the My Tentacle Romance, but there also is Tentacle Lust and Birthing the Brood.
Oh my God.
Alien Arousal. Looks like she's switching to aliens here, but Birthing the Brood.
Birthing the Brood? No, it's a leech
Like, that's
swamp,
a weird.
Sarah. It's a leech swamp. That's not.
It's not.
In the breeding pit? The tentacle monster breeding pit? Birthing the Brood in the tentacle monster breeding pit. Oh my God.
Dear Amber Fox, I love you already.
I gotta look at these ratings. I gotta look at these. I want to see these 5 stars.
One of them I'm not even going to say out loud. That's not true. I'm definitely going to say it out loud. The title is Gaped. Which is the place's bio is top notch. About the author, Amber Fox. If tentacle monsters tickle your fancy, you've come to the right place. Here you'll find an assortment of sticky tentacled creatures, from monsters to aliens, and a few other weird and wonderful creatures in between. Get ready. It's about to get slimy in here.
Oh God.
Wow.
Yup. Okay.
That is the winner. That is the winner.
And then we'll go back and read some of these other ones, but we're going to start. We're going to start with
there.
them.
Sounds great.
Love it. That sounds great. Sounds like something.
Well, I think that is a great way
Fox.
to end this podcast on that note.
Sounds like it.
On that slimy
On that note, we are moving on. If you haven't listened to last month's book club episode, Grace and Henry's Holiday Movie Marathon by Matthew Norman, why not? I know it's past Christmas now, but you still should do it anyway. It's super cute.
Super cute.
Super cute.
And coming up next, our January book of the month is The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. So be on the lookout for that one.
Yeah.
And don't forget to follow our socials, subscribe to the podcast, and please leave us a review. We want to know what you think. Only if it's good, though. Okay.
Only good things.
Yeah.
I mean, who would say anything negative about anything?
I know, right? We're funny.
That's
looking.
Crazy business. All right. We also have something new that we just kind of got involved in. We have a bookshop storefront. So if any of these books sparked your curiosity, head over to our bookshop page. It is linked on our website. We're also going to put it in our link tree. And you can get yourself a great book, all while supporting independent bookstores. We have the good fortune of choosing some independent bookstores to kind of support. And each month we're going to find some new ones. So if you have some suggestions, we'd love to hear those too. But this month we are supporting the Old Firehouse Books. That is in Fort Collins, Colorado. It is one of my favorite spots to shop. So if you are looking for a new book, they also do ebooks. You don't have to order a hard copy. Head that way. And also let us know if there's a book you'd like to see us read or feature in the book club. We want to hear every title you've got, even the weird ones.
Even the weird ones. Absolutely. So until next time, keep reading,
keep exploring,
and don't forget to pack the snacks.
Yay!
That was a lot of books, guys. That was
a lot of books.
That was a lot.